Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Chakodash. The blessings to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone of True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman. And this is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. It says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem." Now, what plague is it talking about? Well, when you go in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, scriptures speak about many plagues, such as famine, race riots, martial law, cannibalism. That goes, 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 speaks about that. But Zechariah 14 and 12 is telling us, "And this shall be the plague." Scriptures also in 2nd Ezra 16 speaks about arrows, right? The arrows of the Lord, that when they're shot, like a mighty archer, you can't bring it back into the quiver. Alright, you can't bring it back into the bow. This plague that the scriptures is referring to is what we know as the nuclear missiles. Alright, whether they be intercontinental ballistic missiles, which have a predetermined path, or hypersonic missiles, which have no mechanically moving parts. They leave the atmosphere and come back in and have the capability to change direction. So try to envision trying to shoot a bullet with another bullet that can curve to stop this. In other words, you cannot stop it. That's what it's going into. That's the main plague that the Lord is talking about. Now it goes on to say, "And will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem." Now, who are the people that's fought against Jerusalem? All you have to do is go to Psalms 83, right? It goes into all our enemies, okay? And it starts namely with Esau, Edom, and it goes on to list a bunch of this different nations, but it starts namely with Esau, Edom, right? And that's the main one. That's smite the people of the Lord, all right? Which is Esau, Edom today is the so-called white people. Now the reason I'm saying so-called is because so-called means commonly called. Okay, they're commonly called white, but they're not the color of white. All right, they're more red, right? Which is the name Edom. All right, why they're red? Because their blood shows through their translucent skin. So, and then this is a nationality thing as well. So it doesn't just stem down to skin color. So that's why we say so-called or commonly called white, because you could be an Edomite and you have the appearance of a so-called black man. See, so that particular seed is what the Lord is gonna do away with, man. All right, and the other 17 nations that have, the other 16 nations outside of the nation Edom, all right, that have gave the Lord's people trouble. The scriptures tell you if you touch the apple of the Lord's eye, which are his people, you're gonna pay for that. All right, it says, "Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet." Now, your flesh consuming away while you stand upon your feet. Think of the movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day with Sarah Connor's vision, when she was held against the fence and she saw a nuclear destruction that took her off, her whole flesh, everything blew away with that nuclear wind while she stood upon her feet. Because if you hit somebody with actual flames, they'll scream in pain and fall to the ground. This one is telling you you're going to be put to powder while you stand upon your feet. And the only thing that could do that again is the nuclear missiles. All right, it says "And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." So that's a double entendre. Has a double meaning right there. Actually, not double entendre, has a double meaning. Which I believe a double entendre does have a double meaning. But it means physically their actual tongue and eyes are going to consume away from that nuclear flame. All right, that nuclear heat. But also their visions of the future when it talks about their eyes, right? You have a director, James Cameron. He decided to make Avatar 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, dude, like, you don't even know if tomorrow is promised. They put out their movies and they say coming in 2026. They never say Lord willing after, maybe the Lord will we 2026. No, they just got that God complex saying, look, that's our visions of the future. Or they'll say, oh, we're gonna grow our GDP by this amount, by X amount. Not even saying Lord will. Just now, we're gonna grow it by this much and that much, and this is gonna happen, that gonna happen. The scriptures tell you in the book of Lamentations 3 and 37, "Who is he that saith it cometh to pass when the Most High commanded it not?" So this is why we ought to say Lord willing, pursuant to the book of James, the 4th chapter. You can't just say you're gonna do this and that, but that's what the so-called white man does. So the Lord is gonna destroy that. They're visions of the future, all right? A lot of these Edomites plan to do such and such. We're going to rule till the year 3000, and it's going to be like Futurama or Star Wars or Star Trek, and 1,000 years in the future, there's aliens around, but guess what? The so-called white man's still on top. So that's their God complex, right? But the Most High is going to do away with all that shit. Let's go to next scripture is Jeremiah 51:11. Remember we talked about them arrows. Jeremiah 51:11 says, make bright the arrows. Gather. So hold on, let's stop right there. Make bright the arrows. Make bright the arrows, okay? In the ancient world, all right, and you can see this in the movie 300, when 1,000 or 100,000 arrows are being shot, it blot out the sun, all right? But Jeremiah is saying, make bright the arrows, all right? Meaning these arrows, when they're shot, they're going to be bright, and that's what the missiles look like, all right? Because they have that projectile behind them, the fire projectile behind them, to where they look like stars, man. They look like falling stars, all right? There's a bunch of different names how the prophets describe the missiles, falling figs, but those bright arrows is the missiles, all right? It's even called the glittering sword, like you know how the sword, when the sunlight hits it, it glitters. That's how the missiles look. So when it says make bright the arrows, gather the shields, okay, so what defends arrows? Shields. What defends missiles? Nuclear defense systems, all right? Nuclear defense missile systems, whether they're surface to air, sea to air, or air to air, all right? There's some sort of shield against it. So this is talking about this coming world's war, all right? It says, and again, Jeremiah 50 and 51 is Jeremiah prophesying against Babylon and future Babylon, all right, which is America. Babylon just means a land of confusion when you break the word down, and that's what America is, straight confusion. Now you got men convinced that a woman is a dude that decides to put a wig on and gets a surgery. And that's what we are in today. So that's nothing but confusion. It says, the Lord hath raised up the spirits of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon, the kings of the Medes. The modern day Medes that it's talking about is the Russians. Okay? Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Now there's so many scriptures about the Lord talking about, you know, completely and utterly destroying Babylon. But again, when we look at the history of what happened to ancient Babylon, that didn't happen, all right? It didn't get completely destroyed. In fact, you can visit Babylon today, all right? That is modern day Iraq, right? Babylon today is modern day Iraq. Bear with me. Yeah, Babylon today is modern day Iraq, right? And it could be visited today, but the Lord is prophesying that he's going to utterly destroy Babylon. So the Babylon is talking about in the scriptures is America, okay? Not ancient world Babylon. Now this is the book of Revelation chapter 18 verse 21, and it reads, let me make sure this is 18 and 21, and it reads, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. Now that great millstone again is the topic of this lesson, the missiles, all right? What's the sea represents? The sea represents people, all right? This was you can find that answer to that by the precept in Revelation 17 and 15. Remember in the book of Psalms it says through thy precepts I get understanding, right? So we understand what the sea is talking about. It's talking about the missiles, okay, being casted into America, all right, and the sea being the people, okay. That's what it means. That's the understanding of this prophecy. It says, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Now, this is John the Revelator prophesying against Babylon. How could it be ancient Babylon? All right, John the Revelator is in on the other part of the, well, not say the other part of the world, but John the Revelator is in the salt mines. Why would he be talking about ancient world Babylon? And if this is a future prophecy, okay? No, he's talking about America, okay? Being destroyed, okay? With thermonuclear destruction, if you can receive this, okay? This is what the scriptures are going into, okay? And it says thus with violence, because it's the same way America was gotten, with violence, all right? Same way the so-called white man took America from the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, which is the tribe of Gad, our people, the Reubenites, Seminole Indians, all right? Issachar, all right, so-called Mexicans, and took our people captive, the Southern Kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, so-called Negroes, Haitians, and West Indians, all right? Violently built this kingdom up through our blood, sweat, and tears, all right? And reap the wine, but is not willing to stomp the grapes. The Lord is going to have them pay for that, man, in 1 hour, okay? The Lord is going to destroy all this landmass in America, all right, within 1 hour, all right? It goes on to read, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more, right? So you're not going to hear no music, no liveliness, no nothing, all right? But Malachi, the 4th chapter, tells you that it's going to leave them neither root nor branch, meaning there's not going to be a blade of grass left, neither any more genealogies here, man. No cousins, no uncles, no none of that shit, all right? It's going to be wiped the fuck out. That's what the Lord is dealing with, okay? If you can receive that, all right? So it goes on to read, at all, Salaki, I'm going to stop right there because the sun is glaring in my eyes, becoming kind of a bit difficult to read and drive and pay attention to the book. So instead of jeopardizing anything like that, I'm going to close out with that scripture, all right? I'm going to go ahead and give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash. Say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.